Greetings, sunshine. I am Frannie of Shine with Frannie. I'm so glad to be with you here today. I'm really excited because over the last couple of months since relaunching Shine with Frannie, shinewithfrannie.com, I've had a lot of interest in finding out a little bit more about what is empowerment coaching and what does it look like to coach with you. And so at the very top of the website, shinewithfrannie.com, there's a little link or a little click to button that says if you'd like to learn more, if you'd like to find out if empowerment coaching is right for you, click here. And over the last couple of months, like I said, since having lots of great conversations with you, some of you curious, like, what exactly is it that you're doing, Frannie? Or some of you saying, I think that I might want to work with you. Tell me a little bit about what you do. So what I did was I came up with a list of questions that I felt like were helpful just in learning generally about coaching, but then also specifically about empowerment coaching and working with me. So to get started, I really want you just to start thinking about somebody in your life that was a meaningful mentor, coach, or an advisor, maybe through your elementary school or high school years, or perhaps even your collegiate years. Or perhaps you're thinking about a coach maybe that your children currently work with, whether it be soccer or basketball or gymnastics. Just think of that person for a second, a person who's made a meaningful and significant impact in your life and in your world that has helped to shape or form you. It doesn't necessarily have to be a coach, but oftentimes we think of coaches, especially through youth development, in the form of sports, right? And could you just imagine, a t-ball team without a coach? Oh my gosh, it'd be like herding cats on that field. So just think about the importance of a coach and the role that they play for individual team members as well as then for the team. Think about what attributes that coach that you're thinking of, think about what attributes that person has that makes them a powerful, significant, catalyst of change in your world. What did they exhibit? What characteristics and talents and attributes did they have? Most likely they really were laser focused on helping you be the very best, because that's what a coach's ultimate goal is to help each individual player tap into their personal strengths to then make their team a strong team, to be able to cooperatively work together then to make their team successful as well. But really it's tapping into individual strengths. So whether you're playing center field or you're the goalie, or whether you're going to participate in the vault event versus the balance beam event, your coach is really looking to help you be your very best so you can be successful, right? Because that's what they're ultimately doing. They're shaping and forming you to be your very best. And so as we think about that right now in this huge realm of self-help and personal growth, we think about coaches, the explosion of coaches right now. And there's career coaches and relationship coaches. And then there's, people who specifically work with you on just interviewing coaches. And then even, for our children, maybe there's a vocal coach, that your daughter might be working with, your son might be working with, or perhaps, maybe a goalie coach that your son or daughter is working with to really hone in on their goalie skills on the soccer field. So when we think about, the specificity of the skill set and the skill base that person has, it goes a mile deep, not necessarily a mile wide. Now, we know that sometimes in the sports world, parents are oftentimes volunteers as coach in, the smaller t-ball years and the younger years, but usually they're a coach or a person who has a particular interest in the area as well as an expertise in the area. And so thinking about just coaching in general, usually a person does not have a degree or a master's in being an NFL football coach. Usually it's somebody who has practiced the game, they've studied the game, they've studied strategies of their team and of other teams, they've studied, what works, they build character. There's a variety of things that they bring to the table as a professional coach. But most likely they do not have, 3 or 4 degrees in that particular, they don't have a degree in football or a degree in gymnastics per se, but they have a lot, 1 mile deep worth, a lot of experience and expertise in that area that makes them very qualified, to be able then to successfully bring the strengths out of individual team members to be able then to collectively work together as a team. And so when we think about this personal self-help space right now of coaching, and you're wondering what specifically is empowerment coaching, I think about my own experiences. And yes, I have several degrees in education, so the education piece is certainly something that I work with. And then I have a lot of years in school. I taught for, not in school, but as a classroom teacher and as well as an administrator. For over 15 years, I was in a classroom setting, and then I was specifically in an all-girls classroom setting, and then an administrator in that same school. So I speak girl very well, if you will. And not only because I am a girl, but because I lived, for over a decade, I lived in the community, even all girls community. So I know how middle school girls specifically think and act and speak and talk. And then I also know some of the challenges that their parents are going to, come up with as their daughters are kind of morphing and changing and navigating, especially this millennial age right now, navigating through some of their years, their adolescent years. And so while I am certainly not, a coach in the form of having, 20 degrees in coaching, empowerment coaching, I have a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, a lot of information, just overall in empowerment. And for me, a lot of it started with my weight loss. For almost 20 years now, I've been able to maintain and still continue to drop and release the weight, over 120 pounds. So in the health world, right, there's the physical fitness piece that I'm able to offer some experience and say, here's what worked for me. It's not necessarily what's going to work for you, but let's try it. Here's some things, and here's some resources that I used, and here's kind of the program that I created. Here's some of the physical fitness activities that I do. Again, going back to my experience at Hathaway Brown, in an all-girls school and just overall in teaching, I know how to help girls navigate through some of those challenges they might be enduring. So when they don't want to leave the dressing room when they're going to try on their graduation dress, and because the way that they look and their inferiority and their lack of self-esteem, I've been there. I was almost 294 pounds when I graduated from college. I've been there. Freshman year of high school, I was 210 pounds. I know what it's like to want to just disappear and shrink inside of your own body because you're embarrassed. Also, in regards to my professional world, I left a very secure job to do what I felt like is God's call on my life. I left, professional position and literally took a huge leap of faith in starting Shine with Frannie because I felt like this is what God was calling me to do, to help people find their power, to help people really kind of step back into themselves if they've lost that space of comfort and acceptance of their own self. Also, in regards to relationships, I've been in a couple committed relationships and have broken those off and a full engagement. And then a couple other spaces where I've been able to kind of step into my own as a single 40-something, almost 40-something-year-old woman. So I have a variety of experience, and I'm, certainly not an expert in any one particular area, but I have a ton of experience, 20 years of experience in a lot of those different arenas. And so really that's what a coach is a coach helps you really pull out the best of you and find your own personal strengths and get laser focused in on what those strengths are to help you go ahead and tap into your higher power, to help you be your very best, to help you rise up to your fullest potential. And so if you're right now in that space in your life, perhaps you are questioning and wondering, am I in a place where I should maybe switch careers, or perhaps maybe I want to start my own business, or perhaps, my daughter really needs a little bit of work around the confidence building. She always feels like she has to have a boyfriend, in order to find her own self-worth. Or perhaps your daughter's dressing a certain way because, the other girls at school are wearing Uggs or North Face and she feels like all of a sudden she needs to have that, although that's not been her identity to this point. So there's a variety of ways, and some of the questions that you ask, like, well, what are some of the topics that you would cover? Well, a variety of my clients, it really kind of runs the gamut. I have one girl in particular graduated a couple years out, and she is now wanting to start her own business. So she and I meet on a monthly basis. It's not a routine weekly basis, twice a week or whatnot. I have another client who I meet with a couple times a week. She's working on some fitness goals as she gets ready to go into high school. We're really trying to work in on and hone in on her a couple pounds of weight loss and really just her confidence to be able to step into high school next year and really feel confident and comfortable in her own skin. Another person that I'm working with is actually looking to do it differently in regards to raising her daughter. She is wanting some parenting advice and kind of some support because she sees some behaviors and patterns from her own parenting with her mother from yesteryear, and then how that's kind of relaying it into her life with her daughter. And there are some negative patterns and behaviors that are coming back in. And we're really looking at that and saying, well, what is your goal? We've identified goals, and then we keep track, and we then, every week we meet, we talk about some of those, we try to break those habits, and we try to change her mindset. All of the work that I do here, really, as a coach, as an empowerment coach, I really help with the defense, right? Because the defense might be a fear. Maybe your fear of being alone if you're single, or maybe even if you're widowed, or maybe even if you are married. You might be feeling alone even in your marriage. I help with that kind of that mindset of that feeling of loneliness. Or perhaps I'm going to help you with some physical fitness. And maybe you're saying, my body is not necessarily where it was 15 years ago, and I got my 20th class reunion coming up, and I really want to focus on this. Or perhaps, the defense in your mind is, I'm not good enough to go ahead and start my own job, or I'm not smart enough to take a new position. Whatever it is, we are working together to help you change the way that you think about yourself and about your circumstances. And that's what empowerment coaching does. So I would love to go ahead and chat with you specifically about what your needs are. I do feel like my business, is a calling from God, so I do feel like it's a ministry. I do offer you, the free little coaching session in the beginning to see if we are a good fit for one another. I'd love to find out more about what's going on in your world and how perhaps I can help you. And you can check that out at shinewithfrannie.com. At the top, go ahead and click for a free little session to sign up with me. And then, of course, check us out on YouTube. I almost said MySpace. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. See what we're all about. See what I post. Watch some of my videos. Get a flavor for what exactly it is that I do and how I approach certain things. And I would love to hear from you. Love to work with you. And I'm really looking forward to helping you tap into your power and get laser focused in on being your best, highest, fullest self. And my highest hope is that is what you bring to the world each and every day. Guys, create a great day. shinewithfrannie@gmail.com is how you can connect with me. Or, of course, shinewithfrannie.com. At the very top, go ahead and click to sign up with me. And then at the bottom, you can also get our newsletter. Love to go ahead and see you at shinewithfrannie.com. Shine on, guys.